Countdown to Kickoff is supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. And I'm also absolutely delighted to announce that ABTV has recently been supported by Craig International, game-changing procurement efficiency trusted by the global energy industry. With offices worldwide, Craig International continues to be a market leader. It's a huge game for the Dons today. We are winless at Tynecastle since May 2017. Kick-off in the capital is at 3 o'clock this afternoon. It means this for the Dons. We currently sit joint bottom with St Johnstone, but a win today, coupled with other results, will push us further up the table. Hearts are not in great shakes. They've lost their last two. They're only 2 points behind us. In front of us. It's all to play for today in Edinburgh. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV here on YouTube this Saturday morning. It's great to be back after the international break. Put a couple of little posts out this morning about people's feelings about how we're going to get on today, what sort of formation Barry might play. And I think it's safe to say there's a few nervous folk kicking about today. The Red Army are going to be there in their thousands today. Our allocation sold out within 6 minutes of of the tickets becoming available. To all of you who are making your way down there, across there or up there, have a brilliant trip, have a safe trip. And I know that you'll be doing your very best to help get the boys across the line today. But it is a big game today. We've obviously got a very difficult couple of weeks coming up as well. So I think it's vitally important that we do kickstart our season today. We need to put in a good performance. Barry needs to get his selection right. And more importantly, I think he needs to get his formation right as well. So look, there's plenty to discuss. This platform is your platform. Feel free to come on underneath the video here on YouTube and I will read out as many comments as I possibly can today. Just again, be mindful of bad language and be mindful of being respectful to all those who also comment as well. It's vitally important to me that we keep Ali Beg ABTV a safe haven for fans to come on and have their opinions, which you are all entitled to. So what I'm going to do is we've made a few changes to the show over the past few weeks, which I hope you've noticed. And that's all become possible because of the membership scheme that quite a lot of you have already signed up for. And it just means that it gives me the resources and the tools to be able to start making this channel the way that I want it to perform and the way I want to produce it and the way I want it to look. So I know a few of you have recently jumped on board. Many, many thanks for that. It's a huge help to me. I'm extremely flattered by it all. And I know, and it's something that I'm very conscious of, that I do have to rely on the goodwill of you to be able to help this channel build. And I am very grateful for that. So I hope you noticed the little changes today. And we will keep going. So that's all down to the membership scheme. So thank you very much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict the team today. And I want you to have your say on the team. This is what I'm going to go with today. Ooh, I'm a bit nervous about this. Now, I'm hoping that he goes with at least 4 at the back. So I think that's how it'll be. Devlin, McDonald, Jensen, McGarry. That's how I think he'll be across the back 4. What I'm also hoping is that Graham will patrol that front area of our back line. I don't want to see Graham bombing up and down the pitch because I don't think he's got the legs for it. I want to see Leighton Clarkson doing that. I've got a feeling Johnny Hayes will play today with McGrath on the right-hand side. And then what I'm hoping is that Papi Habib Gueye gets a start today. I'll explain that in just a moment. Where he will just float in that area just behind Bojan Majovski. Now, I'm making a big call today. I'm dropping Duke. So, let me just sort of explain why I've kind of gone with that team. So, with Papi playing up front, what I don't want to happen today is for us to continually miss out the midfield. We've been so guilty of that recently. But there will be times when we might be forced to do that. So for me, he is an outlet for us. The big guy up front who can pick balls up, can do all the nasty work in and around that area, and hopefully Bojan can feed off him. What I'm also hoping today is that the midfield really get a hold of the ball. Leighton can push a little bit forward. What I don't want Leighton to do, which I think he's been guilty of in the recent past, is always looking for this, and we've used this terminology a few times, this Hollywood pass. He doesn't need to do it, just play it simple. But I think Duke has been out of sorts. I'm a little bit worried about him, I've got to be honest. And I just think that he needs a place on the bench. I think Barry needs him to think about his performances, and I think you can only do that by putting him on the bench. So I hope we play it into Pape's feet if it's available. If there is nothing available through the midfield, then he can be used as a target man. But if we're going to play the type of football that I'm hoping we are going to play today, which is basically on the deck, we have to play it into Bojan's feet. And I've said this before on the channel, Bojan is not a target man. He is the type of player who gets the ball played into feet and he can turn and he can get at defenders. So that's what I'm hoping today. Please keep it on the deck. I don't think he'll go with Rubicic today. I think he needs to be taken out the firing line because I think he is in the firing line at the moment and I don't think he's settled. And I think there's a number of reasons why he hasn't settled. I don't think Nicky Devlin has helped him, and I mean that with the greatest respect, because Nicky continually bombs forward, which again is his role, but he also needs to be very conscious of tracking back. And I think sometimes when Slobodan gets pulled out of position into what is an unnatural area for him, we are getting found out. And I think that's where in his head these rash tackles come in, the bad decisions happen, and he makes these rash challenges where he gets a booking and then all of a sudden we're worried he's going to make another one and he's going to get a red card. So I think pull him out of the firing line today. So that's what I think. Look, it's just a humble opinion. You may think I'm talking an absolute load of nonsense, which I probably am. But have your say. Absolutely drop me a note. So we've got a couple of guests today, and again, it's a new item here. I want you guys to come on and have your say, and I want to have conversations with you. So Calum Richardson is going to be with me later on today. He's a business coach in the hospitality market, and he's a big Dons fan. We speak a little bit later. He gives us his thoughts on today's game. But first of all, let's do what I call now a press call, where I invite a member of the press to come on and have a little chat. And I'm absolutely delighted to welcome to Countdown to Kickoff Scottish football correspondent and huge Aberdeen fan from the Times, Michael Grant. We spoke about a host of topics. Hi, Michael. It's great to see you. Thank you, as always, for jumping on. Right, let's start with our beginning to the season. What do you make of it?
Not great. Not great, Ali.
Yeah.
It hasn't taken off yet, has it? It's been a disappointment. The new signings have not come in and made the impact that we would have hoped. I mean, I was just thinking about it before I came on, and if you look at it, I think most fans would get into a big debate about what's our best defence, about what's our best midfield, about what shape and formation we should be playing. Now, none of that's good. None of that is good if you've got that level of uncertainty in those kind of key elements of the side. And it's the kind of polar opposite of what we had under Barry's great run in kind of March, April, wasn't it? When we had certainty and stability and we were rock solid defensively and so many clean sheets, consecutive clean sheets. We've now gone 6 games without a clean sheet going to Tynecastle. So there is an awful lot of settling down to be done. And there's a lot of new players who have still to make their impression and make their mark and show that they can be Aberdeen players. And it's a worry, Ali, because the next 2-3 weeks are not easy. It's not a generous set of fixtures coming up.
I was watching his press conference, Barry's press conference, and sort of the closing lines where He said, I know exactly what we're doing. I know exactly where we need to be. I know exactly how much time we need for us to get there. It's all good and fine coming out and saying stuff. What I've noticed recently is that fans are starting to not get tired of managers just saying statements that fans want to hear, but he's I don't know, that noise in the background that I keep talking about. Does it worry you that it could get louder and louder?
Oh yeah, I think it's almost likely to get louder because if you look at the next 3 weeks, you've got Tynecastle, you've got Frankfurt, you've got Ross County away in the League Cup,
Yeah,
and you've got Ibrox.
yeah,
Now, listen, this team will do well to get 2 or 3 results out of that set of games. Obviously, there's a couple of home games too, which will help. But yeah, that noise will grow around Barry, and he has to be able to handle that. I think sometimes he's guilty of airbrushing the performances a little bit, and you know, being too generous to the team. Now, no manager is ever going to criticise individuals, and nor should they. Fergie taught us that, the kind of all for one kind of mentality.
yeah,
But you can still call it honestly and say a poor performance is a poor performance, and we've seen a few of them this season. And I think Barry has seemed to kind of not want to acknowledge that. And I think that'll begin to grate more with supporters if that continues.
yeah. Dante. So obviously just signed a new 3-year deal. So from reading between the lines and sort of the impression that I'm getting, it's a very mixed reaction to that news. I actually think there's a player in him, but I think we're still to see the best of him by a long shot. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was maybe slightly surprised at a new contract. I wasn't particularly upset about that, but I wasn't, thrilled either.
Yeah.
Like you, I think there is a technically quite talented footballer there. I would just look for more impact, frankly. I would look for more end product from him. I mean, he's young. He's not 18 young, he's 23, so you're getting into that kind of phase where you think, right, we need to be seeing it here. I would just like to see him impose himself more in matches. I think he's been around long enough now to kind of get the pace and the physicality of Scottish football and get a handle on that. And I really hope that he does well, because apart from anything else, there is a vacancy in the central midfield at the moment, because you've got Shinnie and Clarkson as probably guaranteed starters most of the time. And beside that, we haven't replaced Ramadani in terms of a new signing. So obviously Polvara is not the same type of player as Ramadani. But if he was to have an impact, he could become a certain starter as well. I see him as a squad player, I'll be honest. But at the moment, the way things are, we look a bit thin in the centre, especially if Conor Barron is still going to have to prove himself to us in terms of this season.
Just to finish off, I know you're heading to Frankfurt. I think it's going to be a fantastic occasion. We've nearly sold out our allocation, which is just absolutely outstanding. But I think, to be honest, I think we're just going for the occasion, maybe not the result.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is, I think there's excitement and a little bit of trepidation, I think, amongst most of the supporters. Listen, I mean, Frankfurt's start to the season has not been outstanding. They haven't been blowing teams away. I've been looking at they beat Levski Sofia 2-0. Now, you're not telling me that Aberdeen are substantially poorer than Levski Sofia. The Cologne was 1 each at home. Darmstadt was 1-0 at home to Frankfurt. So they haven't clicked either so far. But listen, the gap in resources is enormous between the two clubs. And it'll need a performance from Aberdeen, which they haven't shown so far this season. There's been little flashes. First half against Celtic, second half against Hacken away, some moments against Hacken at home. But they'll have to put together a really disciplined defensive performance here to give themselves a foothold in the match. And that worries me, because I don't know at the moment what the best defence is, and I don't know what the best defensive formation is. And I think we're entitled to say that, because we haven't seen Garteman yet. And we don't know if our Dadia is going to have a future at the club, because he hasn't featured at all yet. So the manager knows what these guys are delivering in training, and he can make the call on how they should play and whether they should play. We can't. We haven't seen them yet, and we need to see them soon, and we need to see them delivering.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, hopefully I'll see you on Thursday at the stadium. Mate, great weekend. Hopefully I'll see you on Thursday.
Thanks, Ali. All the best.
Cheers, Michael. Take care. Ta-da. My thanks to Michael. Right, so this is what Barry had to say in his press conference, and I've just picked out what I think is a telling quote. He said, "I know exactly where we need to be. I know exactly how we're going to get there, and I know exactly how long it takes to get there. So we're all right, and we're just looking forward to another big game at a great venue." Let me know what you think of that. Here's some match stats for you. So Aberdeen are winless in 9 league visits to Hearts, losing each of their last 3 while shipping 9 goals in the process. The Dons are one of 2 winless sides in this season's Premiership. We last failed to win our first 5 games of a league season in 99-2000 under the late Eb Skovdahl. Hearts have failed to score in each of their last 3 league games, last going 4 without a goal in the Scottish Premiership in November 2018. Our referee is Kevin Clancy, and on VAR is Craig Aiken. So there we go. So Callum Richardson is just a way to come on. So what did you make of that quote from Barry? Because so many are getting, as we said at the top of the show, are getting nervous. By the way, your turn is coming. I'll read out your comments very shortly. But I liked that quote. I can see what he's doing. And what I want him to do also, like what we discussed with Michael, is I want him to come out and tell it as it is. If it's a bad performance, tell us it's a bad performance. Don't sugarcoat it. I think we're of an age now where fans can see right through that, and it's, forgive the pun, but don't pull the wool over over our eyes. Just tell us as it is. I never ever expect any manager to come out, like what Michael said, to criticise individual players. It's a collective. That's what it's all about. But just be truthful. It doesn't matter whether you say it publicly or not, I don't think. Players in this day and age are big enough, ugly enough, and strong enough to be able to take that sort of stuff on the chin. But just tell us as it is. And that's why I quite liked that quote, because he does have a plan. He's here for the long term, and he does need the time and the room, and I think he needs to be afforded that to be able to do what he's hoping to do. But he needs to do it quickly, I think. Because, as I said, it is a very big couple of weeks coming up. Right, let's now start getting the fans on, right? So if you want to be part of the show, instead of just sending me like your messages and your thoughts on YouTube, I'd love to get you on visually so that you can have your say. We can have a question and answer session. So what I've called this little piece is basically anything that is done with the fans. I've called it Red All Over. So I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Calum Richardson, who is chef director at the Bayfish. He's a brilliant business coach in the hospitality industry. He's a great guy, and I really hope you enjoy our wee chat. Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff, Calum Richardson. Callum, it's great to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you keeping?
Oh, good. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Listen, it's great to see you and it's great to meet you. I know obviously you're a huge Aberdeen fan. So I've got to ask you first and foremost, what have you made of the way that we have started our season?
Disappointing, I would have to be honest, but predictable, because it was going to always be like that. You can't take in so many new players and go off a flying start. You can, but it'd be hard to come by.
So what do you expect today? What are you hoping for today?
I think they need to get a win today, really. I think that the breaks probably come at the right time for them, because with so many new players coming into the team, like that last game, they literally had stepped off a plane. They've not really done any bonding or practicing together. So, now they've had a bit of time, so they should be bonding. It's going to take a long time though. It's not going to happen overnight. But I'm thinking there's a win coming.
Yeah, me too. Because I have to ask you, do you think there's an element where us as fans need to just sort of trust in the process a little bit more and just give Barry that time and freedom to just crack on?
I think it's a common theme throughout everywhere now. No one gets a chance. I think he's proven himself, taking over a load of dross, to be honest. And then, he did turn it around, because if you'd said that's where we would finish and we'd be into Europe, if you'd said that back at that point when he took over, you would have been like, aye, okay. It's like nonsense. But in all honesty, he has proven himself. And you've got to let him bed in with what he's got. It's got to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. And you got to remember as well, is the team he has now taken on is looking at a long-term team. It ain't people on loan. He's taking players in for a good 2-3 years ahead. So that's what we've got to look at. It's not just the usual quick fix that Aberdeen's used to having.
Just very quickly, just before you go, obviously we've got the Conference League coming up next week as well. Are you sort of planning to try and get to any of the games abroad? Because I know so many fans are planning to try and get to these games and get out on the road again with the Dons. Or are you going to see if you can just get to the games at Pittodrie? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get away to one of them at least.
Yeah.
It's just try to fit it in, But it's like anything, you wait and wait to get the dates and everything. But I'm going to try and get something happening. But yeah, got to follow them. It doesn't happen often.
I know, exactly. Hey, listen, if you're going to Frankfurt, give me a shout because hopefully we can catch up and we'll meet over there.
Perfect. Good
Brilliant.
man.
Callum, thank you so much. Lovely to meet you and have a great weekend.
Okay, and yourself. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. There we go, Callum Richardson. Many thanks for coming on, Callum. Right, let's now start getting to your points of view. Can't be bothered has come on. Hi, how you doing? In my humble opinion, we have to win today with a good performance. If not, the question has to be asked if Barry is the right man for the job. John McDonald is here. Hi, John. I hope you're well. No long balls today. Roos was main offender last game. Keep it on the deck and keep possession. Bob Duffer, hi Bob, big game today, lose and Baz is under massive pressure. Paul Donaldson has said, good morning to everybody, hope everyone is doing well. Matthew Cool has said, hope you and all the dandies are doing well today, Ali, good performance needed today. John Grant has wished everyone a good morning, got to win today, hope the break has sorted out our leaky defence. Paul Donaldson went on to say, don't like being negative, but I'm feeling very nervous about today's match. Our form at Tynecastle in recent years has been poor. It's going to be hard, but a win would finally kickstart our season. Simon Roy has said, we need to get 3 points, nothing less today. Hope you're well, Simon. Jude has said, looking sharp, Ali. Hope the team are today. Hope you like the top. It's one of my all-time favourite Aberdeen strips from season 1983-84. I absolutely love it. David Gold has said, tough match today, not won there since 2017. Correct, David. Alan Nicholas said, Barry asking fans to be patient. Patience only lasts so long. I like Barry, but he needs to sort out the performances. I completely agree, mate. Paul Donaldson went on to say, hopefully the international break will have given the new players a bit of a chance to get to know each other. So we had 6 players away on international duty. And as I mentioned earlier, Barry said last Wednesday was the first time that he had the group together as a collective for the first time. So Al Mitchell has said, hello everyone, I do feel worried about today, but come on you Reds. Jude, poor record at Tynecastle, but the end has to end sometime. The run has to end sometime. Al Mitchell has said, as long as Ruby is on the bench. David Scott has said, fingers crossed for today. Not overly optimistic, but I hope I'm wrong. Come on, you Reds, he said. Paul Donaldson also said, no more hoofing the ball out from the back today, please. I think we're all in agreement with that. Simon Roy came back to say, we need to have 4 at the back today. Richard McKenzie's here. Hi, Richard. I hope you're well. Not confident at all. I think we have a good team, but we are not together yet. Still missing something else in midfield, and you can see Shinnie's legs are going through still, but he is still influential on the park. Eclectic Soup agrees with my team selection. I hope you agreed with it as well. Sorry, let me come back. Paul Donaldson had said, do you think we'll see Conor Barron today? I thought he had a decent match against Hibs. Yeah, I also thought he had a decent match against Hibs. Look, for me, it's a toss-up between Johnny Hayes, Dante Palvaro, and Conor Barron. But I do think Leighton, Graham, and McGrath will be the other three midfielders that will start. So it's just a toss-up about who potentially could be the other player. As I mentioned earlier, I think it will be Johnny Hayes, purely because I think we need that experience in there. So yeah, let's see. Scotty Lad has said, Duke has gone off the boil, but we still badly need him. Without him, we don't have anyone that can carry the ball and get the team up the pitch. It's a very good point, Scotty Lad. He went on to say the recruitment and shaping of the squad doesn't look great at the moment, and what Polvara has done to deserve a 3-year deal is a mystery. I must admit, again, with the greatest respect to the guy, I was surprised it was a 3-year deal. I wouldn't have had a problems if he'd got an extra year or maybe even 2, but 3 I was slightly surprised about, I got to admit. But like what Michael and I spoke about, I do think there's a player there. It just has to be coached out of him, I think. Gray Pilgrim has said, Dante is miles better now than what we first saw him. That I completely agree with. Continued development. Maybe get a decent fee for him from the MLS in the near future. Yeah, I don't have any issues with that. I do think he is an improved player. Scotty Ladd has said, I'm expecting Barry to be under huge pressure come the end of this month. So Charles Craig, hi Charles, I hope you're well. He said, the only change I would consider it in my team is McKenzie in at his preferred left back with McGarry in for Hayes. Against Hibs, we changed the plan 4 times and players looked confused. Yeah, take your point. Neil Strachan has said, I totally concur with you. I think Duke and Ruby should be rested today, and I think Aberdeen will win 1-0. Come on, you Reds, he said. Paul Donaldson has said, the quote from Barry sounds reassuring, but we need to see the performances on the pitch to match it, not just the words. Excellent post. Michael Taylor has said, want to be positive today, guys, but our record speaks for itself at Tynecastle. I can't see it. Please, please prove me wrong, though, and pick up any sort of result today. Come on, you Reds. Chris Clark is here. Hi, Chris. I'm beginning to find Barry Robson almost patronising with his statements. We have poor performances week after week just now, and he basically tells us all everything is fine, getting tired of it. This is what I was saying. So I think that fans will be on his side more if just simply he doesn't sugarcoat what is obvious to all of us, which is a bad performance. I understand why he does it. I totally get why he does it. It's a narrative. But I think just tell it as it is. If we're garbage, we're garbage. And tell us why we're garbage and how you're going to fix it. I think you do that, I don't think there'd be an issue. Not that I'm teaching you to suck eggs, of course. Barry McNeil says, hi Ali, great show as always. Thanks Barry. Not feeling too confident today due to past experiences at Tiny. Here's hoping we get today and pick the correct team in correct positions. The Mad Ferret says, hopefully we can get a good team performance at Swinecastle today. I've never heard that, Swinecastle, brilliant. Can't be bothered makes a good point. He says, we need to get Sokla up to speed because we could lose Duke mid-season. Graham Buchan has said, not convinced by Barry so far. I would accept a clean sheet and a draw and maybe steal it, but I'm not holding my breath. Kaiser is here. Hi Kaiser, how you doing? He's just catching the last knickings of the show. He goes on to say, what do folk think about playing Jack Milne as a holding midfielder? Interesting. And Matthew Cole is on to say, definitely need a back four. I agree with your team selection, Ali. Right, guys, we have done exactly half an hour. We are all done. So we will be back tomorrow with the review show. If you're at a loose end today and you're not going to Tynecastle and you're kicking about, I'll be on North Sound today from 2 o'clock on the big Saturday football show. So I'll be watching the game here from my base on the German-Austrian border, watching the game live and reporting as it happens into the show. If you're unaware of the show, can I describe us as an award-winning show when we won the silver medal in the big sort of radio broadcasting award ceremonies a couple of months ago? Yeah, I think I can say that. So we basically came second in the best sports show category, which absolutely blew us away. We were absolutely thrilled. So if you're unaware of the show, it's presented by Stephen Mill. Ewan Cameron is there, myself, Stevie Cowan, who usually goes to another game. And it's a mixture of music, football, and just having a really good laugh and absolutely ripping the mick out of each other. So I really hope you enjoy it today. It's on North Sound 1 between 2 and 6. Now, looking ahead to this week, so review show tomorrow night, usual time, 7 o'clock Sunday night. On Wednesday, I'm going to do a live preview show ahead of the Frankfurt game on the Thursday because I'm actually going to the game on Thursday. So I'm jumping on the train and I'm heading all the way up. And now I know, now just let me get this right, I know that there are plans for most of the Aberdeen fans to meet at an Irish bar not far from what is the main station in Frankfurt. Hang on a second. It is called O'Reilly's Irish Pub. So as soon as I get off the train, I'll be heading there, hoping to meet up with quite a few folk, heading to the ground. Going to be doing some filming, making a video vlog for this channel, doing a bit of reporting for North Sound, all that sort of stuff, but most importantly, hoping to enjoy the game. And then after the game, the plan is obviously to head back to the Irish bar and just have a bit of a laugh and see how it goes. And then I'm catching a train back here at 1:30 in the morning from Frankfurt Station. So we've got a few hours to kill. So I'm hoping to meet up with a whole bunch of you, and I can't wait to see the Dons in the flesh because it's been a wee while. So listen, today, come on lads, let's get this win that we so desperately need. Let's kickstart our season. Let's get this monkey off our back about our performances recently at Tynecastle. Don't leave anything in that dressing room, and let's keep the rumblings in the background quiet for just now. I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a brilliant weekend. Good luck to the lads. I'll see you tomorrow. Stand free.